Hey folks, hope you're having a great day wherever you are. This is my ninth video talking about my book. The first one was really just an overview, and then I'm going chapter by chapter, just talking a little bit about each chapter. So today we're doing chapter 8, Who is my true self? And then I'll answer some questions. At the end of each chapter, I have questions for reflection and discussion, so I will answer them for me. And again, I want to just thank everybody that has read the book. Thank everybody that has done reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. I'm up to 34 on Amazon USA, but I have readers all over the place. I actually had a bunch of purchases in Amazon Japan earlier this week, which was a nice, pleasant surprise. But I have purchases in the UK, in Canada, and of course in the USA. And what I'm finding is half of my sales are actually international and half are in the USA. So I love it. And I also love getting all of the emails and messages on Facebook from people as they read the book, tell me they have it or tell me they've read it, and they just tell me what they think or they ask me questions. So I thank you for that and keep it coming. And I see my sister Deb Lewis is on. Hello, Deb. Nice to see you. Well, not seeing you, but nice to know you're there. So, Sitting with God, A Journey to Your True Self Through Centering Prayer, Chapter 8, Who is My True Self? Here are some of the things I touch on in it. Who is my true self? I think my true self is calm, content, and unafraid. My true self is really the person God wants me to be. And we can connect to our true self through a silent prayer practice such as centering prayer. Because during centering prayer, if you think about it with your sacred word, you let go of your thoughts and emotions. These are all obstacles to God, and open to the presence and actions of God within. And you're connecting with God within. Your true self within is who you're connecting to. And as I think about my true self, my true self needs to be shared with the world. I strongly believe if you don't share your true self with the world, you're cheating the world. The world isn't getting your gifts and skills and abilities that you can share with it. So when you're not acting from your true self, you're cheating yourself and you're cheating the world of how you can contribute to the world. I also talk about in this book, fear is a barrier to your true self. So fear really needs to be, we all have fear, and I have fear too. And you need to learn how to let go of your fear and move forward regardless. So just like during centering prayer, let go of your fear, you have to do that during your everyday life. You need to let go and move forward anyhow. And often I find when I take that action, I'm not fearful anymore because I'm taking action. And then the last thing I think I'll share, I mentioned an experience with my dad in the book. And I talk about my dad and his true self. And as he was older and close to dying, he had Alzheimer's. And he often obviously forgot who we were and forgot things. But then he would do things that came from his true self. He loved chocolate and he loved muffins and he loved sweets and he loved music and would kind of move his head if he heard music playing. So even though dementia and Alzheimer's, impacted my dad, his true self still shined through this debilitating disease. And part of his true self was his love for music and his love for chocolate and his love for muffins and hot chocolate and ice cream and sweets. So my father's true self remained and shined for the world. So these are some things that I touch on in the chapter 8, Who is my true self? And then I'll take a look at the questions. I think it's always fair, since I put them out there, I'll answer them for myself. The first question, who is your true self? I believe your true self is the person God wants you to be. And I connect to this person through my centering prayer practice, and then I get up and walk and walk with God and take my true self with me. When do you most feel your true self? I guess when I'm feeling excited, I'm feeling calm, I'm not feeling afraid. That's when I most feel my true self. And then when I am afraid, what I need to do is slow down maybe do a 1 minute silent sit, and then proceed. So I best feel my true self when I'm calm. Who is your false self? Number three, your false self can be many things. It could be what other people say you should be, what your work says you should be, what your community says you should be, what the government tells you should be. Those are all false. Your true self is who God wants you to be, and where you feel a passion and an inner calm and an excitement for life, and know deep down this is the right thing I should be doing. And even though it's out of my comfort zone and I'm a little bit afraid, that is my true self, and that is who I should try to be each and every day. Number four, how do you know when you act from your false self? Well, you're acting from fear, or you're being bullied into things and letting others push you to make decisions and do things when you're feeling guilty about your actions. That's really when you know you're acting from your false self, because you know there's not an inner peace about that action, or it's an action and it's not really full of compassion and love. It's more of you being a bully or a bulldozer to get what you want. And when you're taking that kind of movement forward, you're certainly not acting from your true self. Four, how do you know when you act from your false self? Well, I think I just answered that, and maybe that was the question I just answered, so I'll move on. Five, how is fear a barrier to your true self? It really stops you from acting with inner calm, with inner peace. It stops you from being empathetic. It stops you from listening and being present and giving that moment exactly what it needs. Whether it's an action you need to take, or whether it's just sitting and being and listening. And then number six, how do you continue to let your true self shine? What practices can help you to let your true self shine? I would say, well, for me, centering prayer. I connect to my true self every day and reconnect to my true self every day. So I have a sit first thing in the morning before I begin my day, and then I take a second sit early afternoon around 2 o'clock before my lunch. I'm a late lunch eater, and I reconnect to God and my true self. But at any moment, you can reconnect to your true self when you feel you need to, and during the workday, I do that. So I'm actually working from home with COVID-19, and I've been doing this since March. And at any moment when I am just busy or anxious or can't figure out how I'm going to perform a work task, I take a moment and do a 1 minute sit. Then it's a reset and restart button, and then I begin again. So I would highly encourage you to do a mini sit whenever needed, and that can be for 30 seconds or 1 minute at any point during the day, just to reset, restart you, and ground you back in God and back in the present moment. I see a question here from Sherry Armstrong Northcutt. Can one really know their true self? For me, I can speak from experience. Centering prayer has connected me to my true self. I can think of myself before centering prayer, and then I think of myself after centering prayer. I've been practicing centering prayer since June of 2014, and as a result of my practice, I can feel that I'm a calmer person. I'm a more confident person. I'm more excited to live life. I seem to get wisdom for my tasks as a result of my centering prayer sit. My centering prayer sits seem to nudge me forward out of my comfort zone, even though I'm a little bit scared, and to take action and to do things. So, for example, 4 or 5 years ago, you never would have seen me sitting here on Facebook here talking and sharing and being vulnerable. So I hope that answers your questions. For me, can anyone really know their true self? I would say yes, and I'm finding my true self through centering prayer. And it's not a once and done thing. You continue to find your true self. It grows and changes. So who I am today isn't who God wants me to be in 6 months and in 1 year. And I'm excited about that. I'll continue to do my centering prayer sits. They teach me how to live. They teach me the actions I need to take. So my true self is a journey. It's a long-term journey with God. And centering prayer is the equation for me. It connects me to my true self. And I'll continue to do my centering prayer sits twice per day. And I'll continue to take my mini sits whenever needed throughout the day as a reset and restart button. So I hope that helps answering the question. Sherry, thanks for the question. So that's all. Just wanted to pop on, share chapter 8 in the book. Thank everybody who has read it so far. Please, if you have questions as you're making your way through it, send me a message in Facebook or go to my website contact page and ask me a question or even make a comment. And as you finish it, please consider doing a short, couple sentence honest review on Amazon and Goodreads. So again, thanks for everybody that's on now, and thanks for the folks that'll catch this on the replay. And I hope everybody has a great rest of the day wherever you are. Much love to all of you. Take care.